No balls! No count! Goddamn. Hello.
So everybody, it's Amon here. Welcome back to another one of my Talk videos. These are my thoughts about new characters within the factions of For Honor, from the Knights all the way to the Wolven. Hope you guys' day's going good. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. Let's go ahead and talk about the video now. So I'm gonna get into it. Let's go some my list. Like I said, hope you guys are having a great day. We're not getting any new heroes from what I know super around a case at a time, because obviously being holidays and you used to work with some different stuff, which is just not a big A for content, because I feel like the case for the heroes that we have now in the new introduction is the Kaushin, that we're going to be fine, because the Kaushin is fine to me, and this should be focusing on buffing the game, incorporating some different things, and making sure things are in the right setup in case for how we want to play the game and productive value. But I'm just saying the same matter for us having new characters, it would be helpful to have new characters, because overall most of us could agree that a lot of there in case of the characters that are put into For Honor are cool in their presence and what they have in the game overall. So with that being said, I'm presenting you with some characters that I made of my own idea, talking about how they are, how they can be introduced in the lore, how they can be like a structure out for the game, what they take baseness from, other topics, and I took a little bit of inspiration from other people that have talked about different characters on the platform, like as Raven, some other people, Tokini, or however you actually say his name, because every time I go try to say his name, I hear different people calling him something else, and it's weird. And it's in case with Girl Danny, that one dude. There's a bunch of different case of people. I'm recording this very early morning, not super, because I know that this has been a tangent of me recording late at night, but not super. And I'm at my mom's house at this point, but it's just that the same matter for me just waking up. It's a little bit weird going to record a super in-depth talking video. But with my point being said, I want to go and show you guys a little bit of mindset, how I'm like with these videos talking about these different characters, because I'm going to have more videos talking about this stuff in the case for Honor, and fell up a little bit in my Amons Thoughts video, because the last Amons Thoughts video was if Genji can have sex, and that's over 100 views. And that's a weird video, in case being the first video and only video to be there. But I mean, again, this is an interesting topic. I hope you guys will enjoy all around. Enough stone. Let's go and get into it. Hope you guys having a great day. I'm on the video. Okay, first involving the Knights is one, the Legionary. The Legionary is within a Roman Legionary, obviously, as we already have two Romans of one Roman descent, with the Roman Centurion and Roman Gladiator, a fighter of the arena of Rome. When it comes down to the case for the Roman Legionary, he's going to actually have a scutum, and I want him to be able to either have a gladius or a spear. I know that might not be the most interesting, but I want them to try to make the best creativity in line with in how the Legionary would fight. Obviously, Legionaries were front main board militia members of Roman talents to go ahead and face different troops. They would stand together, and I want the Legionary to be in that focus. I want him realistically to be able to rise with the other heavy characters and able to do big mountings. I want him just to be about defense, protecting borders, to be able to back out different members of different squadrons with his shield bash that is going to be like Conqueror shield bash, with how his structure is like gonna be like how Black Prior Zone is, where he mix shoves everybody with a triangular shove within a circle, because with his great helm shield, he's able to push other people just in the split focus. This is gonna be a Scutum, which has that same board feel, but I want him to be able to back and rise and push with everybody around, and be able to come down with a speed or is and start cutting grass like Centurion with his zone. I want that to be his zone so he can push out and take some other people out. Also, obviously, in the words of Raven and other people, we can talk about if this shit is balanced or not. This is just my scheme and setup. I made this character up by myself. People maybe had an idea for a legionary. We could talk of a legionary was not just made up by me, because obviously we want more Roman characters. Shit, if we're talking about a case for a Roman faction, I would love that. A Greek faction would just be Mofinte, excelente, would be lovely. But we say that matter evolving a character progressing from Rome into the Knights, because obviously the Romans are the ancestors to the Knights, and they think it is from the past because in the lore is they're trying to get them, they still resonate within this world and not passed out from history, because Romans still are in different high time case of early century in this game, so that's interesting. But still, with that being said, not a Roman legionary would be in focus in the lore. It's just coming as backup to the Romans after in great siege to Rome by Warmonger to make a stipple point. And this Roman legionary, you can make up any name for him, is just coming out of obligation to them. He has a friendship with the Roman Centurion. He wants to fight for Rome and fight for an empire that is invading within the Byzantine Empire, and bigger strides for the Knights. And this wants to fight for his home. He also just wants to fight to make a difference, because he feels like for the longest time Rome as an entire cycle of an empire from republic to empire has not made a great profound difference, and he just wants to feel like he's making a difference, and he wants to fight for honor. So with that being said, that's how he'd be put into this. He would have a normal Roman legionary look. You could have a wolf head, you could have a mask, you could have faceless, shorts, just whatever. You can be the Roman Centurion, but maybe just a little bit more bulky, you know. You can be husky. Now, obviously, there were no female Roman soldiers, and even in the case that it would be in big prior defying situations, because the reason why women would not be as Roman soldiers is because most women did not fight. Women are not in the great command place and power to fight. It's not like there's no female warriors at all, but most importantly, they wanted to protect women, not have them strafing on the battlefield. That was not that priority. That's not what they were here for. Anytime women be on the battlefield, would be in helping care. Now within the case of being full-fledged foreign fighters. But at the same time, precaution for why female fighters will be there in the case for Romans, again, to rescind my statement, are only in prior good knee safe situations and pursuing enemies that possibly not on the same frontier as in other cases, because the top male soldiers are the ones who come at the high case of command, and having females there kind of takes away the same matter of protection presenting a case for females, and doing that disrupts half of their entire cause. It's not like a sexist thing, it is just more about a protectual thing. So when females got put out, that was the only reason why. And that same case for Centurion, especially since females were not Centurions at all. Most of them were men, because men were top leaders of that case. That is a general, that is a captain, that is a captain leader. He is the leader. Most females were not that. That doesn't mean females couldn't, I'm just saying. And you can take that any bias you want, because don't change the fucking point. Like, obviously we get this. Most females were not in that high order of females having to be in that case of fighters at all. And most predominantly with some of the classes of this game, male stereotypes take more of that feel. That is not disclosed females were this and this by coming to the look and the feel of the characters, but again, the baseness of these characters take more so in the case of being male and not female. That does not take away females could be shigokis, big husky women that are bulky strong, but in the state of substance matter for why it's like that, it is literally just in precaution that they are not in the same strength format as the shigokis. And most time, males will be husky big like that to proceed in doing big things in war, especially in the combat, for only the strongest men could live up to that hype. And I'm not saying women ain't strong, but they're not in that same space of strength. My point has been made. Moving on to the next characters of the night, though. Next character of the Knights is the Great Siege, sieging with his Great Siege and Knights at the hardest. The Siege is actually going to have a traditional two-hammer weapon, where he can wield it one-handed, but he's going to be mostly pouncing around with it two-handed. And not literally pouncing around, but he's going to be a bulk, heavy figure man. I want him to be Irish, or at least have an accent that will come in using as a mercenary for the knights. Because within the lore, I don't want him to actually be a mainline knight, even though you could have characters being descended to the knights and still being of knight value. But I want him to be a knight that doesn't go by the same brothel rules, kind of like Conqueror or Gladiator, having their own field things. And he still wants to be in the whole chivalry thing, but he mostly does it out of commitment to his own like Sigma male type of attitude. Not literally, but I just want that to kind of be the feel, because with him, I just want him to be a warrior, not to really have a reason to fight. He's just in the fighting mood, not just to fight to fight. I want him to have a Saiyan mindset. I just want him to be a character that fights on both ends, because he's just ready to bring the pain, and he wants to just have a job that would give him that muster and feel violence at the same time. I want him to be maddening. I want him to just be beastful. In the case for how he's like as a warrior, though, we'll have mix up 2 hammer hits. When he hits you, I want it to be thundering. I want him to have a thundering hit, like Milner hitting you. I want him, when he hits you, to almost put you on the ground. And if he hits you with 2 hits, you do get fucked on the ground. Same to with your McDonald, but out of stamina. But at the same time, with this, I want it to be both. When it comes to you being in stamina and he rocks you that hard, you get hit on the ground and he's not able to do anything to you on the ground, because I don't want him to just be spurging with damage, because that shit is stupid. But Yermingon, I understand it, but no, out of stamina is different. If he hits you once and gets you out of stamina, because how he's going to get you out of stamina is not going to be the exact way as Yermingon, but the more and more you get hit, the more and more your stamina goes down. So he doesn't have to actually use a move to go and get you down. He has a headbutt move that can go and arrives up with an uppercut hammer swing that knocks you back a few feet. I want him to have a bash, but not a bash that mix up in anything, just a literal bash to get you far away. He doesn't actually rise up anything, just pushes you back. And then I want him, after he gets you out of stamina and gets you on the ground once in one hit, and he's gonna have hella fucking height. Bro, this nigga is big bulked with armor. This nigga is the same range of height and armor capabilities as Lawbringer himself. So when he gets you into that position, I want him to jump, rising with the hammer like Jormungandr with an earthquake. But I want him just to plant the hammer on you, and you be on the ground. He puts his foot on the hammer while you're there, and I just want him to laugh at you beating his chest like whoo, 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 and then picks the hammer up, and that's gonna do hella magnitude damage. But the only way it does big high magnitude damage is that, well, how that kind of sounds with magnitude damage, magnitude in that case. Okay, we're just saying case as a big part in case of damage, because we get magnitude, pun intended matter, for this hammer being big right in the hammer. It's a 2-hand hammer, war hammer, not in the case for Jormungandr, because Jormungandr has this feel and setup. Well, hold up. Yeah, in that case, I feel like I'm just talking super fast. I'm not trying to have a tongue stroke. What I'm saying all around is they have set up as a warhammer, but it's plated into fiction. This hammer, still within the fantasy game, it's going to be in a place of fantasy, but at least this will still uphold how a warhammer is like. It can be big, gauntletly big, but at least uphold realistically, say a matter for how the hammer will be wielded by a human and not someone with fucking super strength, because this guy's not gonna have power. He's gonna have great beastful strength. I mean, he has power as a being, but it accounts for how someone like Lawbringers who want to put scaling in this normal place of how power is stemmed into this game. His presentation, his skill, and beastfulness and armor, what he puts in the work and action, accompanies him with that high counter say matter of power, not a setup of being drivingly fictional. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that's how his general overpass of power is going to be put within the case for how he acts and what he does and how he does things in the Brolic Piss in the case of how he does stuff. You know, I'm just saying that they can take him anyway. I just want him to be more realistically Warhammer Bunch, a Viking within his glory, but a knight with chivalry and guarding pass as an overrun siege. I want him to be the type of knight when he comes on the battlefield, he's no talk, he's with the action, he come through and he spears through you. I want him to have a running charge move where he grabs you by the face, pins you down, drags you by the dirt, then yeets you a little bit off from the dirt. And that's not going to take damage, it's going to take stamina. And when in case of him hitting you on a wall, I want him to throw you there and just bump you with the hammer with the pommel, and that takes a little bit of damage, like Raider with his knee. That's the only thing damage that I want involving him grabbing. He's already gonna be a big pillar of damage, so I wanted the place for how he presents himself in this place to be just big precision and gauntlet of rage. And so I just want him to be a hammering nigga. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be male. He can be female. With the Legionary, like I said, I want the Legionary to be male because you know, stay matter for how Legionary was like. It was a male, but with the Siege, it can be female and male. A Riot and Fury of both fields, it's whatever, and it's even like cancellation or me trying to butt in the point. Seem like you guys don't think I take into account that there's going to be female players wanting females and just representation. It's just that I'm just thinking about how it could function as male or female, and this ain't kind of same matter for how you would want the character to be in place and feel. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how I feel about it. Anyway, going on to the next Viking. Well, not Viking, Knight, my bad. I was thinking of this person as a Viking because he's a Jormungandr. Next character is going to be a Gladiator. Still probably different Roman characters. It's going to be a Thrax. A Thrax was a warrior of the arena, obviously. A class representing Thracians and barbaric feel of a warrior with the baseness of being a warrior in the front stage of battle as a Thrax. And in Thrax, that would be a case a little bit, but it's only taken away from the legends and the tone of how Thrax says we're like in the place fulfill the case for how they were like and other things. Thraxim is going to be a warrior with shield and have the little scythe for gladius or sword, just general all cases kind of like a dagger, but obviously it's not going to be a full small dagger in some cases for how Thraxans would be in this case. I want the Thraxan to be barbaric and relentless in his own case, a place for how he's going to be fighting and do stuff. It just depends on how he circles around you does. So he's going to be fast, he's going to be cunning, he's going to use the shield, get in, stab, he's going to be very counterintuitive. I want him to build a move, dodge, bring the pain. And like the Gladiator within the For.honor lore, he's coming at obligation, so that's fighting for freedom, money, he's a mercenary. But with Thrax, there's a lot more to it. The Gladiator spends his time trying to fight for the muster of glory, seeing the battlefield as the mighty arena. The Thrax does not like the arena. He wants to muster and fighting for a true cause, as being gladiators only environment for the form of entertainment for Romans and not actually building up anything. And since obviously going by realistic times, gladiatorial events in arena and just slavery has been discarded, but slavery within the case for him fighting for nothing but the same spurt of violence has gotten him down in the butt and not even actually doing anything of true bringing cause, because he feels like his entire life he has had to be bounded and never forming as a free man. As in the words of Spartacus, the greatest victory in this world is to leave this world a free man. So fighting against Horcrux and the side of the good warriors of For.honor, he actually feels like he's making a difference and does not want to be left in the dark. And so with him fighting for freedom, he just fights for freedom. Maybe you can make up he's fighting for family. Where the matter is, Thrax just wants to go home, and he fights for his now obligated Roman family and with the knights and bringing the pain. He'll be high armored, low armored, normal gladiator, simple, male and female gladiator. I'm gonna have the original default class be preferably female within the field, because I feel like Thrax is mostly a matter for how different depictions of Thrax with females kind of looks just a little bit better within the field. And I want this female Thrax to be evenly bulked, but be goodly attractive. Not in my own feel, because I don't know perverted shit. It's just that female Thrax would have this cat girl dog fight feel within their case and have a little bit of skin shown. I know that they don't want to be over sexualizing females and be sexist, because now this game is about they're trying to be this case for armor. But since it's a gladiator, that feel will be the same. Same thing with the male. If you want to have realistically the males two butt cheeks peeking out, you can do that. I just want them to present them as attractive gladiators that stem with glory and great fury with how they do things and all that, and pretty much it. And how the Thraxus is gonna play is counterintuitive. Assassin gets in, gets out, and can bring breaks, place of defense involved in it, but they have low health and they can easily be dissevered. They're going to be a hybrid though, and not an assassin like gladiator though. That's the thing. And with the siege is going to be a heavy, and the legionary is going to be a heavy as well. And we're going to the vanguard. I know you guys want to hear about the vanguard. My idea case for a vanguard is going to be Salente. Maybe to y'all the case for how to feel that this last vanguard will be within the knights. We should have more. I have a tongue stuck up. All right. Like I was saying, in case it didn't make sense, with the last player in case of the vanguard within the knights. And I think that in case for this duelist character, which is the name of this next knight, is going to be cool to you guys. And I hope you guys enjoy my idea. If you guys don't, tell me why. Tell me your own ideas in the comments as well. Going on to the next character, though, like I said, the duelist, to reiterate, is the vanguard of the knights. The duelist is a mercenary for the knights coming in just to get the golden plunder. But he does have some sympathy for the war, but he just wants to come in, make his payment, make the best means as a duelist, and hire up his rep. Now, I want the duelist to be a little bit Spain / possibly French, or even just British, as most duelists in the case say man for the time would descend from those places. If he would be from Spain, I want him to have a Spanish looking face / the case of him speaking Spanish, and let me say man for Latin, as Latin and Spanish for Spain do descend from each other, especially since Rome overtaken Spain at the time, so he can be reconciled to fight for the Romans from that cause. If he's going to be British, he can just be British, just somebody just feel you can get a British voice actor for the character. It can just be whatever. It's a British duelist saying a bunch of different naive British slang in between it. You fucking wanker, you swat. Come on, you fat doba, dueling Shigoki, doing other stuff. It will work greatly. I just think it would be cool if you had a British character in this game. And British knights, British mercenaries, they can descend and fall into this. Great gladly, it definitely works. But then, if we're talking about for French, you can take that in many ways. I'm just saying with French because of the case that were great duelists in French, and French, at least of the time For Honor disbanding, there was great French tournaments. So if there was ever a mercenary coming in, because France was overthrown in the case of man for the time by Rome, that could work greatly. A person of French descent, at least. So I think it works in both ways. You can have all three. Just have a different feel. You have a duelist that's a full knight, or a duelist that's a full mercenary, or it can be like fucking Puss in Boots. I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from Zanny with the Puss in Boots feel. He can dodge, move. When he blocks, I want him to block with this armband / gauntlet feel, because with obviously having a duelist where he can't block normally, so with him trying to block with his sword, it's going to get instantly pierced off, because I don't care what you say, you could equate this with all different weapons. How is a nigga with this small lance, dual blade, going to block Lawbringer's big halberd crushing on that blade? It's going to get speared off. He's going to get flattened. I don't want to hear it. There's no way. With Shaolin blocking with his wrist armband gauntlet metal pose, they're going to actually hold up some weight, especially in the count for Shaolin being superhuman, so he can hold up his own strength on that. But at least realistically, he's going to have protection for the wrist, where he's going to be sliding off from, because with his wrist gauntlets, it's not going to be in the same weight. It's going to be leather strapped and posed with metal. He's going to have great intricate armor on right and left side of his arms to be able for the fill. Not super, but he's just going to at least have that for protection. And I want him to block but deflect with his right arm and come in, getting the hits. He's going to be a vanguard, but mix a little bit of assassin mix-up at the same time. So when he does this stuff, he's going to be countering, moving. He has to get in. He's not supposed to be blocking. If you do block, that's fine, but you get slower. You're supposed to be getting in and out. You're supposed to move. You're supposed to be proficient. What's decision? You're not supposed to be worrying about these motherfuckers. You just gotta move. You gotta move different. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta be in and out. So I want him to stab. I want him to be cocky. I want him to have a Puss in Boots feel. I just want him to be anatomic, quick sizing. You know what I'm saying? But again, he's only be blocking with that because you have to have him in a one bracing, like with Shaolin, but having a full wristband to really rise up against someone like that. Because that shit don't make sense at all. Just no. But that's it for the Knights. I'm going to go on to the Vikings. Hope you guys enjoyed my 4 different characters. Tell me what you guys think about Eric's characters later on. Next character of the Vikings, / first character of the Vikings, is the Bruiser. The Bruiser is going to be a 2-sword Viking that's going to work like the Berserker, but have great agility, out to sea within the case of his movement. Is going to build a spice. He's going to work with his blades like how Kratos' blades would be in different ways, but with these blades, he's going to be chain rocking them, is going to move them very greatly, and these blades are going to be connected to his hands. And with the lore, I want him to be a very religious Viking that kind of has a demonic tone and fights to sever different people from the battlefield for his bloodlust, and he has much hunger. He is cannibalistic for blood, but not actually in eating as severing. And I want him to have a relationship with shaman and having a similar case of cause, but doing a different say amount for the case of how he or she, it's going to be a guy and a girl. This is going to be an assassin and working in that way. And I want him with these 2 swords to move differently. I want them to be butcher knife like swords. I want them to work in that form. I want them to be able to put people in the dirt and do different things. I want them to mix up with fighting styles, kicks, and fists. I want him to do some elbows. I want him to headbutt. And I want one of his feats to be where he calls to the gods and brings out this bloodlust of seven to everybody, and they kind of get a revenant totem from Apex Legends, and they get this full bloodlusted hyper armor and get able to mix combinations. And when they're at low health, they teleport away to where he is, because when he's in this nest, he can go in and he can die because he's the holder of it. If he dies, their bloodlust goes away as he's the summoner of it. But if that happens, they teleport back to him. Now, if he's fighting with you, obviously you'll just be in the same spot. But if you're far away and he's doing other stuff, then you guys will teleport back to him. And he's going to try to unify you guys as you guys are a bloodlusted pack. He's going to be acting like a wolf. He's going to be fierce. He's going to pounce. He's going to rage. You know what I'm saying? So that's it for the Bruiser. Next, we have the Brawler. Now, the Brawler, I want to have a full-on axe and hammer. With this axe, I want it to be similar width to Raider's axe, which I forgot the name for it. Long axe, aim axe. Yeah, pretty sure that's right. Because in no case, same matter for saying, but he have a Dane axe feel, but have an axe like one of Thor's friends in the MCU, but with a shield. He's gonna be a heavy. He's gonna work like Warlord. He's gonna be able to mix up and do different things with the hype top head of the axe, mix up in combinations with the shield. He's gonna be about countering and breaking up your guard, and he's gonna work like Kratos from God of War, but not in the exact same feel, but a little bit more differently with how he goes about doing stuff and doing some other stuff. I feel bad for me as Shaolin there. I was getting fucking played, goodness. But anyways, going on with what I was saying, the Brawler is just going to be this big husky Viking that's able to put people down. He fights, this is the normal Viking calls, fighting for glory, fighting for different recognition. I don't really know. He's gonna be funny, he'll make jokes, he's cool, calm-headed, and that's pretty much it. Not really that much to be bigly said. I just feel like with his diversity of mix of Warlord and Raider's ferociousness, he'll have coolness. I want him to have a bear head, and I want him to have a feat where he bear hugs you, and I literally want him, and you can make him the Sagander if you want, where he has an axe and shield instead of being a Warlord, but to grab you, bear hug you, and throw you. I want him to be able to combine good with Shigoki and do some other stuff as well. And I want him to actually have wrestling moves like Warlord and move and be dynamic and stay a man for how he does things in his field fighting and stuff at the same time. But either way, you can have much of them in diverse armor with him, having a full body Viking, or having more brawlic Viking feel within the case of being a caveman and other stuff. Next Viking character though we have is the Wolf. This is going to be a mix up of different characters' assassin capabilities, and I don't know if I want this character to be a vanguard or a hybrid. I'm gonna have him as a vanguard for now, within the case for his fill, but I think he can work in both ways and the whole mix to assassin. The wolf is an exact feel for how Raven described him. I could play his video, but pretty much the gist of it, he's gonna be about illusions. This character, within case for Raven's idea, was supposed to be in form for the samurai, but I want him to be for the Vikings because of his wolf feel. I want him to be about growing in a pack, and at the same time about illusions. This guy, he's a sorcerer. I want him to be like Loki. I want him to have 2 daggers, and how he blocks is with metal garments, or possibly the most fantasy element. This nigga has armor on his head, so he just blocks with his head. He just goes in and he can get little shank stabs under you and shit. Or maybe you don't even have him block at all. When you have daggers, really short swords, and do some other different stuff and move around. But I do also want him to do different things with different adjustments of his armor. I want him to be able to have kick moves where he has razors on his feet, has different bone protrusions / blades, be like the Shredder, move differently and be agile. I want him with his illusions to be able to have different versions of himself call around you like Naruto, but they actually won't do no damage and they will just distract you. You have to take them out of commission like Tozen fighting the Raider and doing some other stuff at the same time. So with that being said, with that feel, that's how I think it would be like in that case. But how he would act almost all the time, goddamn, that's unfortunate for me. I'm just getting bodied in the back. He would act a lot of the time. He'd be trying to get in and out, obviously, as a vanguard / mix of assassin. But how he would try to do things is getting into position, getting you in a track, putting combinations on you, then getting his teammates to go and face you, and then at the same time trying to go work around with and doing other things with his feats. I want him to be all about feats. With fighting, he could fight, but he's not the most profound fighter. He's just about setting goal of getting you down and trying to do some other different things and putting in work through that case capability. Because as a small dude, he's about just getting intricately and annoying the other person. So he'll have a PK fill. I want him to have a move also where he stabs you a little bit in the neck and gouges a little bit of your face a little bit in there, laughs. I just want him to be frisky. Within the lore, he's here for fun. He's also here to get deliverance of hope and peace for the other Vikings, and wants to take the souls of the bad. And with his own little craft of alchemy, he has the capability to make so much great illusions through guidance of the great god Loki, and has the same ideals of Ragnarok, but to bring destruction to ones that bring great to the world, pretty much. So there's not really that much in that lore pieced together with the character, especially since the lore of For.honor is not the best anyway, and most of y'all don't even care. You just care about the character lore. Fucking cares. It don't hold no substance matter. I'm not saying there's never been no good lore, because the lore for Kyle Shin is pretty stellar. I'm just saying most of y'all niggas watching this don't care. Y'all just care about the characters. Excuse my language, as that might be a little bit too far, but I'm just saying, like, that's just the truth. But that's it for the Vikings. Going on to the samurai now. First samurai character I want to be the monk. Now before you say anything, I know we have a monk, aka Shaolin, in this game. There's no technical difference. It's just that this monk is going to be monk representing the Japanese. We have 3 monks by lore in this game, by the administration in the case of culture. Haokiri, Kaioshin, Shaolin, but this monk is going to be bare-fisted. He's going to have the exact feel for how multiple people have talked about the monk. I want him to be an MMA fighter. I want him to have great mixed specialties. If you want, obviously, with him being bare-fisted, he's going to have some big supernatural shit. He's going fantasy. We're going to go fantasy. I don't want to hear it. Fantasy, he can also have some impulsions with his fist bare knuckles, do some different stuff. I want him to do a bunch of never back down, so I just want him to be mixed martial art. I want them to get a person that really be martial art in out this mode. That's a little bit of weird saying, but I want a person that is actually knowing of martial arts and can do the mixed specialties of kung fu, taekwondo, mixed martial arts, kickboxing, whatever the case may be, of making this character like in that feel. I want him to obviously be Japanese, but also maybe have this thing from other places. I would love to have this man be from Tibet, being like Jago from Killer Instinct, be doing a bunch of hoo-ah! I want him to have battle cries, want him to be a ferocious, tenacious martial art. I want Cobra Kai in this mug, I want to have the deliverance of Kung Fu specialty. The Karate Kid gotta be up in this mug. He gotta bring the pain, no cap. But at the same time, for how this character will work in post is just bringing in mixed combinations. He'll be able to teleport. I want him to be a rival to the Shaolin lore, and he fights for the great means of the samurai, deliverance, Buddhahood, or maybe a different Japanese religion in the case of the time. And I want him to be actually related to the Shaolin as a brother and understand the pain the Shaolin feels with the Shaolin temple being forgotten, and spreading the word of the calling for the samurai and the Wulin to work together within this great strength of darkness and work together and bring light to the world, especially in the religion of yin and yang within the case for Buddhism. So with that being said, it's pretty much for the Shaolin. I want him to have tattoos if he needs to be having a cool feel. I want him to actually do these martial arts sufficely, because I'm not saying the martial arts they incorporate in their fighting styles with the characters are bad. It's that some cases how they bring out the martial arts that are not full accurate with the characters, or actually in the style place for how the characters move and react and do stuff. So when it comes down to that, I want that to be the case with this monk. The monk also has a little health. I don't want this monk to ever have a killing move. If he does kill, I want him to not look at the people when he's killing, like in the case of Shaolin. But I want this monk to be a pacifist, and when he fights, it's all about countering and never actually coming at you first. And I want him to be so dynamic with his skills, he don't even look at you, he don't even look at the pain he progressively puts on you. He's just about that pop. I want him to have execution. We get your shoulder points, chakra points, mix chi power, and do other stuff. I want him to be able to be ferocious and do stuff. Look at that catch on this Kaioshin. He tried blitzing me, pop with the pop, but with the ha, but niggas wasn't expecting it. But besides talking about my greatness, I'm gonna stop with this. I want him just to be able to have that feel. And every time he's like Liu Kang mixed with Bruce Lee, even though Liu Kang is like Bruce Lee, because I was taking say baseness, having this Chung Chi feel, you know what I'm saying? Just be cool, dynamic and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully. Going to the next character, we have Shinigami. And obviously the monk is going to be a hybrid, by the way. Or it could even be a vanguard, whatever. I would prefer a hybrid, definitely. But with Shinigami, this is going to be an assassin. I want this assassin to have a full-on scythe. I want him to be an edgy samurai. I want him to be an alchemist. I want him to be a dreadful, demonic beast. And it is unknown if this guy is human. I just want him to be fantasy built. I want him to be a person that proclaims to be human, fighting with the samurai's call, but he is really a devil wreaking havoc to reassert dominance in his place, for getting new means of souls on the battleground, and fighting possibly for warmonger, even the samurais, to really accompany the great means of his devilish needs. I want him to be demonic in nature, never hold guard for a case of what he stands as a demonic being, and just be relentless. I want him with his scythe to be able to chain react, fight by taking the scythe, curving your blade, and then I want him to have claws that can be manipulated, and give this sharp ass claw and slice of your throat, or even just eat you. Cause I wouldn't have a demonic face. He's gonna have a mask, but there's also some broad for a demonic feel to me. He's about mystery. I have his beach hat, Kumoto, Shinigami, have everything. Just be a deadly beast. I want his feast to all be about alchemy. I want him to be able to teleport. I want him to be able to mix up a martial arts capabilities with the scythe, and be able to drag you by the body and throw you with the scythe, and even having a move like that. And I want him just to be about Timyak and combination. I want him never to speak almost, and anytime he does speak, it's about your death and stuff, pretty much. And I just want him to be evil. That's pretty much it. I just don't want him to have any humanity. I want you really to bring in the phenomenon of fantasy in this motherfucker. You don't know where this nigga came from. You don't know if he's even Japanese. You don't know if he's human. You don't know what his cause is. You don't need to know. Just know he's a devil, and he's here to wreak havoc on the sinful or unjust because he's just here as Dark Brothel incarnate. When you see him, it is death incarnate. He's the living Punisher, and For Honor, there is no state of compassion for you. Next character, though, for the samurai, we have Razor Claw. Razor Claw is going to be a vanguard. Razor Claw is going to be a character who calls having a shredder feel, but having mixed blades, they're able to use them in quick precision and able to do, again, martial arts, different things. But also I want him to be able to do things involving the blades piercing into you, chain combinating, and just thrusting and moving. And I want him to be his own little Sasuke mix with NK abilities, and like Yosuke, I would prefer for him to be Blasian or as a black samurai. With that being said, also with the monk, female and male, because there were female monks. In this case, the monks that were going to say a matter of feel understanding for different monks. And I'm not saying with Hitokiri, Kaioshin, or Shaolin is bad, but generally there are no female monks because the comment of purity, chastity, and samurai for religion and point, and most females are not going to go within the stand of religion and point for what they stand for, and most importantly for how the monks act in the case of For Honor. The Hitokiri monks were different and thankful for samurai and fought and warrior monks, and their place of saying prime in case of religion is different when to say a matter for how most different monks would see things. But with this monk and others, their place in religion holds bigger means, as they want to make the best means as being warriors that fight for good means, fighting for freedom, and with the same matter for religion. Most females are not there again for purity, chastity, but with these monks, they see them saying vibe in case for this. They want purity and chastity, but want to be embedded with the greatest means between harmony and all, because say a crisis going on. But in the case for actual real life, females were allowed because it's just about that meaning what you do. Females in Buddhism have never been unheard of, so if you say that, you're lying. Do your research. I don't want to say that, but I mean it's the truth though. So that's just basically how the entire feel, how the monk will be like within the case of Phil. Shinigami, it can be male or female. You don't know if it's a human or not. So the perception of who this person could possibly be is whatever. Do what you want, For Honor. But with Razor Claw, I want it to be male only, black, Asian, whatever the case may be. I want him to just be a character that's what the shit is severed. I want to be a mercenary samurai that's just about to hunt and kill and does things for his greater lord, and knows Aramusha as they're both Ronins in their own right, but this character does things of an unproductive, excessive means, while in the case for how Aramusha does it, he does it over retribution means in that case, or servant, because of what he needs to do in the servitude. As for Razor Claw, video is getting a little bit too long. I think we'll make a part 2. Alright, quick saying on Yen. Yen is going to be a horseback samurai. He's going to have a spear. I want him to be bulked up armor, female or male. I want him to be a gauntlet, a power. I want him to have a feat where he summons a horse for a second, gets on a person, does all type of damage, kills them one hit. I'm playing around, but I actually do want that. If they could actually implement a horse, possibly. I know it's going to take time, and it's whatever, and comes in, defend the samurai gave me